Your old cabin is wasting prime shoreline. People like you always sell eventually. The woman in the white blazer said it like she was announcing a board decision, not standing on someone else's property. Ethan Walker, a 58-year-old widower from northern Wisconsin, looked at her, then at the lake his father had spent 20 summers building around. He gave one answer. No. The HOA president, Sandra Whitmore, smiled like she had already won. Beside her stood her son, Kyle. He was not looking at Ethan. He was measuring the dock with his eyes. That cabin was not just a cabin. Ethan's father had built it board by board in 1978. His late wife had spent every summer there. Every room held a memory. 3 days later, Ethan found HOA notices on his door. New shoreline guidelines. New compliance reviews. New property assessments. Something felt wrong. Then an elderly neighbor named Frank showed him a packet of documents. Years earlier, he had signed paperwork he thought was about landscaping. Months later, part of his backyard belonged to a private development company. Ethan started digging. What he found changed everything. Kyle's company had quietly acquired pieces of shoreline from several homeowners. Ethan's cabin sat in the middle of the last gap. Without it, their luxury waterfront project could not move forward. The cabin was never the goal. The shoreline was. Sandra became more aggressive. HOA meetings targeted Ethan. Rumors spread. One night, he found survey flags pushed deep into his yard. Then he discovered something else. A forgotten deed inside his father's records. A 40-foot wide strip of land behind the HOA headquarters. Everyone assumed the HOA owned it. They did not. His family did. The following Monday, contractors arrived at sunrise. By 8 o'clock, black steel fencing surrounded the entire rear access road to the HOA office. Sandra arrived furious. She called deputies. She called county officials. She called attorneys. Every answer was the same. The fence was legal. The land belonged to Ethan. Neighbors gathered. A local reporter showed up. Then county investigators arrived carrying files connected to Kyle's shoreline deals. For the first time, Sandra had no speech prepared. 6 weeks later, the HOA board was replaced. Several disputed property transfers were reversed. That evening, Ethan sat on the cabin porch and watched the sun touch the water. Then his phone buzzed. One message. One parcel number. One sentence. They were doing the same thing at another lake. Ethan opened a new notebook.